Hello everyone, Hanif here from Cloud Automation. In this tutorial, I'm going to install and configure Ansible on Amazon Linux EC2. Here are the steps we are going to follow. No worries, I'm going to go over each step in detail. First, we're going to provision EC2 instances. In my case, I'm going to spin up few Amazon Linux EC2s. You can use Ubuntu. The steps should be pretty similar. Second, we're going to make sure we have Python installed on all the EC2 instances. If not, we'll need to install Python. Then we're going to configure SSH access. Then we're going to install Ansible on master EC2 instance. Then we'll make sure whatever we have done is working properly. We'll test connection to make sure that we have Ansible installed. To install Ansible, we need 2 or more instances. One for Ansible master, remaining EC2 instances are clients. For this tutorial, I'm going to use 2 Amazon Linux EC2 instances. You can have as many clients you want. The idea is same. In the master EC2 instance, I will install Ansible. If you want to use Ubuntu or other Linux distro, the process should be similar. I will try to point out differences when possible. First, we need to launch EC2 instances. I am in my AWS console. Here, click on EC2 or search if it's not there. Click on launch EC2 instance. I'm going to choose the first option here. You can choose other types if you wish. Here I'm going to use T2 Micro, which is free tier eligible, and click on next. Number of instances, I'm going to change it to 2, and rest I'm going to leave it as default, VPC default subnets, and no IAM role for me. If you want, you can create a role. Click next. Storage is fine here. I'm going to leave the tags alone for now. Next, configure security groups. Here it's very important. We want to make sure that we have SSH access on port 22 from anywhere, and give it a name SSH security group. Review and launch. Make sure everything looks correct. Launch. Select your keep here. If you don't have one, create one, and here you go. As you can see, these 2 are initializing at this moment. This is going to take a few minutes. Meanwhile, I'm going to rename them. The first one, Ansible Master, and this one, Ansible Client. I only have one client, but if you have multiple clients, then you can name accordingly. Client 1, 2, 3. While the EC2 instances are spinning up, let me go over a few Ansible basics. Ansible is different from other configuration management tools such as Chef and Puppet. Ansible uses push method instead of the pull method, which is used by Chef and Puppet. This tutorial meant to be more hands-on. If you want to learn more about Ansible basics, you can check out my other video. I will have the link below in description. So now check on our EC2. Seems like it is still provisioning. So for the master one, here's the public IP. So let me actually get started to, we need to connect to these machines. So I'm already in my directory where I have the .pam file. So you need to go there, or if you are using Windows, you need to connect to PuTTY or a similar tool. So here we'll type the following command: SSH I name PAM file name. Then the user. So for Amazon Linux, the user is EC2 user at then the IP address. Okay, seems like we're good to go. So I press enter. So here it's asking me if I want to continue. Yes. Here you go. So I am in my Linux instance. Now we need to make sure if there are any updates available. So if you were using Ubuntu, some of the commands might be a bit different, but for Amazon Linux, I can simply type sudo updates. That will get all the necessary updates, and yes, Y to yes. So now I have my first EC2 instance ready to go. Now I need a second terminal. I'm going to have a different color so that way, oops. So that way we can differentiate which one is master and client. So this one will be our client. Hopefully it's not too much for your eyes. So here I'm going to go to my directory where I have the PEM file. I need to grab my second instance public IP. Yes, here you go. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Sudo update. So if you are using Ubuntu, let me do yes here. You can use apt-get. So you'll type sudo apt-get update. I mean, it's not going to work for me. So another thing I'm going to do, we'll need to install many things here. So I'm not going to keep typing sudo. So I'm going to become a root user by sudo I. So that will give me all the power I need for both machines. Just to make sure that we're on the same page. So this is my master Ansible EC2, and this is the client or the worker node we're going to have. If you are having SSH issues, check out my other video about common SSH connection issues and how to resolve them. I have actually covered in detail various SSH issues you can face. I'll have the link posted below in the descriptions. So Ansible is built on Python. We will need Python on both EC2s. So we'll need to install Python on Ansible master and clients. In my case, it will be master and clients. First, I'll check if I already have Python installed. To do that, I can simply type Python version. So I have 2.7, and here Python. So I have Python, the older version of Python, so I'm going to actually install Python 3. So to do that, simply execute the following command, yum install Python 3. Yes. Going to do same here. Python 3, I'm just going to pass the argument yes here so I don't have to enter again. So I'm good to go here. If you were using Ubuntu, do apt-get install Python minimal. Of course, I can spell today. And then when you execute this command, then you'll type apt-get install Python 3. And that should do it, and then just check the version, what version you have. Now we have installed Python on both master and client. Now we need to establish SSH connection between Ansible master and clients. We need to make sure that you have OpenSSH client installed. In order to do that, we can just type simply SSH local host. So I do have it installed. If you don't have it installed, you'll need to install it. I have another video explaining how to work with SSH and how to install OpenSSH server and so on. I'll have the link below in the description so you can check it out. To establish a connection between master and clients, we have to generate the public key, which is also known as id_rsa dot pub. So let me clear my screen. It is located in .ssh directory. So we can simply go to SSH, and if you do ls, you see that I have authorized keys, and same here. If the SSH directory is not in your machine, you'll need to create the directory and then create the authorized key file by using touch command. If you are wondering why we need to do this, establishing a secure connection, we can manage and control the client or remote machine using your terminal. We are basically setting up keyless, passwordless access, but in a secure manner. So now how to generate the id_rsa.pub key. So in our master, we are going to simply type ssh-keygen, press enter, and we're not going to enter any value. I'm simply going to enter 3 times, and then this is going to give us the token we need. So if you do ls now, let me clear my screen, ls, so see there are 2 new access keys are added. So this is more of a private access key, and this is the public one. Let me cat id.rsa. So we need to copy this public key to our client, so that way we can communicate with each other. So I'm going to copy the entire key and come to my client and open up the authorized keys file. I'm going to use VI, but if you are familiar with Nano or any other tool, that's fine. Press enter, press escape, save it, go back to my master and try to connect to the machine. I'm successfully connected to my client machine. As you can see, this is 54.236 over here, 54.236.254.61. So if you have multiple clients, you need to copy the id_rsa.public key to every client. Now is the final and fun part. I need to install Ansible in master machine. To install Ansible, you can run the following command: sudo Amazon Linux extras install Ansible 2. That will install Ansible. Yes. Now that is done, let me check my Ansible version. Alright, so here you go. So I have Ansible 2.9.9 installed. That is awesome. So now we need to add our client to Ansible master so they can communicate. To add clients to Ansible master machine, we need to add all IPs of client in master machine. The file is located in etc /Ansible host. And there are a whole bunch of stuff here. We really don't need to worry about this. Press I to go to the insert mode. Here I'm just going to give a name, so square brackets, I'm going to name it Ansible test. Press enter, and we'll need the client IP. So this is our client machine. The IP is here, 54236, and paste here. Press escape to exit out, and WQ to save, exit out of here. Now the final moment to check if we have done everything correctly. We can type Ansible ping. So we are pinging to make sure if it's working, to check the connection. If we do all, it should, I mean, we have only one client, but it should, wow. I can type today Ansible ping all, and here you go. This is the IP. I'm going to minimize this here just to double check that we're looking at the correct 54236.254.61, and where we are accessing it from, 172.3.1. So this is basically the private IP of our master. As you can see, 172.3.1.40210. I know switching between master and client, it could be confusing, and also ping by the name we have given. For example, Ansible ping Ansible test. Okay, so let's open up the host file and see if I made any mistake typing Ansible again. OBI, let's see, Ansible, the host file. Okay, here I see ping by this name. It should work, but since I'm here, I'm just going to do it properly. Ansible test. Okay, awesome. So I'm just going to just copy this name and then hit escape, save it, exit out. Okay, Ansible. And here you go. So earlier I did Ansible ping and all. So that also displayed the same thing. But if you want to ping by a specific name, you can also do that. To recap what we have done in this session, I provisioned to Amazon Linux to install Python on both EC2 instances, configured SSH access, install Ansible on master EC2 instance, and on the master host file added the IP address for the client, and then we just tested the connection, and which is working successfully. Awesome. I mean, congratulations, you have done it. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to get notifications for new videos. It helps with the YouTube algorithm for my channel. If you find a better way to do the exercise, I would love to know. I'm always learning. Happy learning.